This project was funded by the Jesuit Refugee Service with support from the SICAP programme. The Social Inclusion and Community Activation programme is co-funded by the Irish Government through the Department of Rural and Community Development and the European Social Fund Plus under the Employment, Inclusion, Skills and Training Programme 2021 to 2027.
Burr and my husband Dennis, and we have two boys, both living, one married and living in Limerick, and the other is with a partner and living in London, hairdressing. I just retired last month. I was working part-time with Enable Ireland as a family support worker. Dennis has been retired for years. He's a lot of health problems and things, and he's actually in a wheelchair now. He's trapped nerves and stuff in his back.
Talk to me then, at the very beginning when you made a decision to become a host family.
At the beginning, when the war started, we just felt it was the right thing to do when they started looking for people to give them homes. And we had 2 spare bedrooms, so we just said, look, let's do this.
What steps did you have to go through?
We actually registered with the Red Cross, but none of my families came through the Red Cross. They never came back to us.
Okay.
The first family I had put up on a Ukraine site on Facebook, I think it was, that we had 2 rooms available. And this lady came on to me. They were all in Galway and they were moving down, but where she was moving to, she hadn't room to take the other mother and daughter in. So that's what she wanted, was the room. So that's where they came from. There's a guy on Facebook, we've met him here. He's been Colm Smullen. He has the courier business. He's up around Mayo or somewhere up around there. My other 2 families came through him. I don't know if he's still doing it. He was going back and forth to Ukraine and he was bringing supplies and everything, and he was trying to home families that were in bad conditions. They, a lot of them were only living in one room in either hotels and that's through them. And the Red Cross, and even I after the first family I put back to them, I said, look, my rooms are available now again, and they still never came back to me. So they didn't.
And do you have any idea why that is, or?
I don't know. I think the system may have just, they were going to do Garda vetting, and then before the host even could bring anyone in, we had to be Garda vetted, which I would have been anyway, because I was working at the time.
Can you remember that very first day that the first family came? Was there nerves? Was there anticipation?
I suppose you would be nervous, because you're opening up your house. It was a big undertaking.
It's great credit to yourself and Dennis for opening your house.
We didn't even stop to think. We just said, let's do the right thing.
You not only entertained one family, but it was 3 families.
3 families, yeah. 3 from 3 different parts of Ukraine as well. I know one of them lived near the border between Poland. They were just over the border in Ukraine. I forget the names of the places they said they were from.
And obviously coming from 3 different parts of Ukraine, would they have had a different experience of the war? Did they ever speak about that?
They never did, actually. The only lady was the first family, because she had, her sons were in. And her daughter was taken in as well now. One of her sons, I think, got injured. He recovered, it wasn't too serious.
What has your experience of hosting Ukrainians been like for your family?
We've had 3 different families. So the very first one was when the war originally started. She came with her 2 daughters, but her daughter was going out with a Polish lad. So they were living separately. We just took the mother and 1 daughter here. But from the beginning, she wanted to get somewhere to rent that they could all be together. And she was with us about 6 months, maybe 8 months. I'm trying to think. No, I can't. And worked very hard, worked 2 different jobs. And she was very good here in the garden as well and everything. And then eventually they got somewhere to rent. They're still living in Newcastle West, herself and her daughters.
Are you still in communication with her?
I meet the son more than her now. I don't meet her much. But as far as I know, the young daughter is gone back to Ukraine, and she had other family over there. She had 2 sons and a daughter. So I think the youngest daughter has gone back to live in Ukraine with one of the brothers.
Can you talk to me then about maybe the second family that you had?
The second family was a mother and two daughters. They were in national school. We got them into the school down here. Eventually, she's gone back to Ukraine as well. But she said, the last time I spoke to her now, she said she was, as soon as the girls finished school, she was going to go to Poland. She was after getting work. She had tried for work here as well, but didn't get anything. So she went back. They were with us about 3 or 4 months, I think, maybe.
And then the third and final family then?
The last family was a mother and a 16-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old boy. It was like a whirlwind in the house. We had to do a lot of changes because with a small child you had to be careful, locking presses and stuff that he didn't get at things. But it was good. She got work as well with them. Noonans are very good for taking them on for cleaning in Tesco, so she was working. And the young one was going to school, but she was only working mornings, like from 6 to 8, I think it used to be.
Okay. So you were a host family for quite a long time.
Best part of a year? No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, the last family only left last year. December just gone. So I would imagine 18 months maybe.
It shows a lot of empathy. It shows a lot of kindness to open your home like that. What would you say your overall experience has been as a host family?
It's been a good experience, and each family was different. Like the first lady, she didn't have any English, so we were kind of using the Google translator. The second lady, her English wasn't too bad, but the girls, they were only 7 and 9. They hadn't much English. And the last family, the daughter had very good English, but the mother was learning. Each one, as I said, was different.
Did you learn anything new about the Ukrainian culture?
One thing I did notice is that towards their children, they're kind of not very warm and loving. They're very cold, kind of in that sense. Because with the small little lad, now we used to be down on the floor playing with him and things like that, whereas it seemed to be something that they wouldn't do, that kind of way.
Yeah. What's a typical kind of a day here in the house when you were hosting?
I was working, you see, myself at the time as well. I was working part-time. They had the run of the kitchen, they had the front room, they had their own bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms an ensuite, so they had their own bathroom as well. The young one, she'd be going out to school, we got her on the bus, but I used to drive her in at the beginning. And then the mother got work. So the little lad, I had a kind of maybe half hour before the mother came home that I was looking after the little lad until she came home. And she'd do her cooking and everything then for the
And
day.
that's a big commitment from you as well, to be not only offering your home as a host family, but also be babysitting.
Yeah. But it was only a few minutes in the morning, and it wasn't every morning. It was 2 or 3 mornings a week, I think.
And you mentioned there about, the first family came over and you were using Google. Was that a challenge, the language and communication?
Yes and no. You could, I don't know how to explain it. We could communicate even if we didn't have the phones. Actions. And then with the Google, if you didn't understand or you couldn't get across what you were trying to say, that's when you'd use the Google then.
And did you pick up any words of Ukrainian yourself?
I think Dennis did. Because the little lad, the 2-year-old, he was calling us Nana and Grandad, but in Ukrainian at the beginning. Dido, isn't it?
That kind of really shows the way he felt about you.
Oh, sure, the car, he loved the car. If he'd be driving me mad to go out in the car to take him for a spin.
Of the 3 families then, what did they make of rural life in Ireland?
The first lady was fine. She was cycling in and out to work and everything. The second lady, she wanted a barista job. And like here, you're not going to just go in and get a barista job. She would have been more bigger city, would have rather been out here. But we have a local link, so I mean, it wasn't even as if they couldn't get into Newcastle or even up to Limerick. last family, she was talking about putting a car under her, but then the insurance was too high. But when she got the place out in Athay, she's driving now. They have a local link, but I'd say with work-wise and school and everything, she just had to. I suppose they were just, Ireland is very good. They take us in and they look after us. But some of them now would say about the dental treatment. They couldn't get into a dentist here. It's way, way cheaper for them to go back home to have it done. And I understand that's why some of them are going back.
Yeah.
Doctors, it was nearly impossible to get them on a list with a doctor. The first lady, I managed to get her on with my own GP, but then after that they were full. So the last family, she just had to get allocated.
And talk to me then about yourself and Dennis. Like, did you have to adjust your routines?
I don't think so, not really. They did what they had to do, and we just... The only thing was we shared the kitchen, but like, if she was cooking, I'd wait and cook. There was no major thing about, I have to cook now at this time. I was very flexible that way. And the little fellow used to nearly live on his lap inside there.
Talk to me then about food, the Irish food, the Ukrainian food. Did you taste some of the Ukrainian food? Did they like the Irish food?
A lot of their... I tasted one or two things, but a lot of their food, a lot of it would be pizzas.
Okay.
They'd even have... I've seen them have pizza for breakfast in the morning. The second family, she used to only send, with the kids going to school, she'd do lunches for them, but it was on biscuits and chocolate, and the school don't want that. And they said to her, she's not to send in the biscuits and chocolate. And then she stopped sending in lunches. I didn't know this until after she was gone, and I was talking to the principal below. She said, no, she stopped sending in lunches altogether. And she said that the mother said they eat breakfast and then they have dinner when they come home. I mean, that's a long time not to have.
That's quite a long day to do without food, isn't it?
Yeah.
And was that similar for the three families, or was it just one family in particular?
One in particular, the first family, the young one was in secondary school. I got her into the Desmond complex. And they were very good at the time. At the beginning now, they paid for a uniform and everything for her. I think she used to get food in school.
That's right.
I think.
Yes, in Desmond they get food. Yeah.
I used to run her in the mornings as well, didn't I? I used to take her in. The last family, I don't know, she did cook, but it was kind of she cooked chicken and so, like it would have been very kind of similar to our own stuff.
And they're taken in Irish food. Did they enjoy Irish food? Did they like eating Irish food?
They did, but just pizzas again. Once they could get pizzas.
Yeah. What kind of support or services are available to you?
We started this before the government ever started paying any money. And then once they started paying money, that's all. Now, Dervla inside in the West Limerick Resource Centre, isn't it? She's been very good and she's guided me where to go in different places. And at the beginning, they used to have a Ukraine shop over in Arda where I could take them and they could get clothes and stuff if they needed them, different things. But I think that's closed now as well, I think. As I said, the schools paid for the uniform for the first family, but with the last lady, she had to pay for it herself. I don't think she got. I think she might have got, like through the children's allowance, and you can apply for extra special needs payment. I think she might have got that. I think they knew more about the social welfare system here than what we knew ourselves. And
do you feel that the support from the government is good? Do you feel more could be done?
I think more could be done. It's good, but like you have the aftermath then of having to repair and doing up bedrooms and stuff again afterwards. But it helped a little bit.
And the question I meant to ask you earlier was, what was their general feeling or mood?
They never really expressed much to me. They never talked about the war. The first lady had, as I said, two of her sons were in the war over there, and her daughter was a qualified vet. She was being drafted in as well on the medical side. And sometimes she mightn't be able to hear from them, but it was bad then at the beginning, you see. They came in 2022, as you said. I think they came around June, March, April, May, maybe. I can't remember now the dates. The second lady, she was divorced anyway, but her husband was still back in Ukraine. But I don't think he had some disability, so he wasn't in the war or anything. And the last lady, her first husband had died years back, but she was separated as well. But she had a mother and father back there, and a brother, I think. Yeah, brother. When they were here first, the last family, the mother and father came here to visit them, and we accommodated them here as well. Took them around to see a few places.
While living here, were they fixed on keeping up to date on everything that was happening on the war? Were they watching news? Were they getting messages from home?
They were, but they would have done it on the phone or the tablets. They would have kept in touch.
What do you think has been the biggest challenge that you found?
I suppose, the communication and the language would have been the biggest thing, because sometimes you'd say something and you'd think they'd understand, but then they don't. They go and do it again. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have any kind of particularly rewarding experience or a happy moment that you remember from your time as a host family?
Yeah, the first lady now, she transformed my garden. She worked in a garden centre in Poland, I think, at one stage. And she just went out there and got on with the gardening. She'd be out there for an hour, nearly a couple of hours before she'd even go off to work. We got on quite well. We used to go for coffees and things. The second lady, she was another one. They think nothing of leaving the kids here in the house and going off and doing their own thing. Like, she went out, and I didn't even know she was gone. She went off one day and the two kids left here all day on their own inside in the bedroom.
And what age would those kids have been?
7 and 9.
So quite young.
Yeah. I was told afterwards that they would have no problem leaving a child of 6 at home on their own.
The difference in cultures, isn't it?
Yeah. Because she thought nothing of it, like. The last family, we used to go into the park and things. We used to take the child and she'd walk up the village, and then she started getting the local link and she'd go into town, and she used to go to a mother and toddler group in the Desmond complex. We couldn't get childcare for him. There just wasn't any places available. But I think she got somewhere out in Athay once she moved out.
You know, we spoke about the support, obviously, you get from the government, and that will probably never even go far enough when you're hosting so many family members. Did the Ukrainian families living with you offer any support?
When I needed gas, they paid towards the gas, because it's a gas cooker we use, and towards the oil for the heating. They did give me some bit towards the electric.
How then, as a family, for yourself and Dennis, your role kind of changed over time from family to family to family? Because obviously you got experience with the first family, and by the time the third family comes, you know, you have a little more understanding of the Ukrainian culture, the Ukrainian ways.
We would have had, yeah. As I said, they were all different. Each of them were different. But I think we just got to the stage then where Dennis hurt his back and he wasn't able to play with the child as much as he was. And I think, now we could be wrong, but I think the mother kind of got a bit put out by that then, or you're not, you know.
Okay.
I think we just decided then that we needed the house free as well. When any of the lads came out, they had to sleep on the couch, any of our own boys, like. So we just decided we need a free house again.
Because it was a huge commitment.
As I said, we were well over 12 months anyway, because the last lady only left December of last year.
Are you happy with your decision to open your home as a host family?
Oh yeah. We did our bit, and it was the right thing to do, and it suited us at the time.
What advice would you give to other families who may consider opening their home as a host family?
You see, everyone is different. A lot of people feel that they couldn't have strangers in their house. You just, I don't know what advice. Just to be prepared. For the language, again, is the main thing, and the communication. They have to be ready themselves to do it. You have to be open-minded about it. You can't just go and do it.
Did you know other host families on the same journey as you and Dennis?
I didn't actually. I met one family maybe last year sometime. I do the park run, and I met them at the park run. They were hosting teenagers, and they had come in, and I only met them that once, and I didn't meet them anymore. They were living over Templeglanton way, and I think they were a bit isolated, all right.
Did you ever think that the war would last as long as it has?
No, we actually thought that this few months, everyone thought, even any of my Ukraine families and stuff, all thought it would be finished. And now here we are, 2 years later, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Still going. And I can't see it coming to an end anytime soon now.
And if you had to go back 2 years, with everything that you have learned and everything that you have been through in the last 2 years as a host family, would you still make the decision?
I think so. I do. We wanted to do our bit. We did. And we helped 3 families. I suppose I didn't realise then, I knew our own homeless were homeless, and people might say to me, oh, you're very good, what about our own homeless? And what we had been told is that government are paying separately for the Ukrainians coming in as regards our own homeless. There was 2 different funds.
Talk to me about maybe reaction from family or the local community.
They were all good. The younger ones got into the school below. They would have had friends, in the school, because I think they got an interpreter into the school as well, which was very good. I didn't realise that until a bit later on when I was talking to the principal down there.
And did the 3 families immerse themselves into the community? Did they get involved in local sports clubs or activities?
No, I don't think so. The first one, she didn't really want to be here. She, as I said, she's gone back to Ukraine. But I met her brother-in-law, and he's very good English. And I said, well, how are they all doing? And he said, yes, she went back to Ukraine living with her brother and his wife. She wasn't 5 minutes back there, and she wanted to come back here.
Amazing.
And the mother said, no, you can't be just hopping back and forth. You have to go to school. Because she didn't want to. She did at the beginning, but as time went on, she just did online schooling with Ukraine because she wanted to go back.
And I suppose, when she went back and, if the war was to end the next couple of years, could you ever see yourself visiting Ukraine?
Well, we've been offered accommodation over there if we wanted to go over. All of the families actually have said that to us if we want to visit. Well, Dennis wouldn't be able for travelling. So.
Did anything surprise you about their culture? Or do you think there's any similarities between the Irish and the Ukrainian culture?
Few similarities. That, as I said, they have no problem of leaving a child at home, 6 years of age, on their own. It's they'd have their own little chores to do and everything. And like to us, maybe a child of 6 is a child. Like, a lot of their ways, I suppose, would be similar. And you see, the first lady as well, when she started, she got a job in the Polish shop inside in Newcastle West. And she was able to get a lot of the stuff that she would be used to from back home. So that helped as well.
What would you take from all this experience?
I suppose, I don't know, satisfaction that you'd helped three families and got them on the road. You gave them some bit of comfort and some bit of, because some of them, their places would have been destroyed, like, and just running with the clothes on your back. Yeah, and that's what I'd say, satisfaction that you've helped.
Ber, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.